Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds, whichever comes first. All right, well, let's get to it. Got an interesting one for you to talk about tonight, some Delphi updates. But remember, with all my videos, these are for informational purposes only. These are my opinions and speculation. I'm not saying anyone's guilty or innocent. Just talking about a case that interests us. Now, the drama in the Delphi case just doesn't stop. I mean, just when you think you've heard it all, the Delphi case says, hold my beer, and more insane allegations are brought to light. I recently did a video about some crucial evidence that could help the defendant, Rick Allen, but the police interrogations of two early suspects were erased. Yes, erased and recorded over. Are you kidding me? In addition, a warrant was approved for both suspects' phones and their electronics, and they were never executed. It is beyond insane. So check that video out that I did on that update, and I'll link to that down below. Now, in addition to all of that, I was watching Grizzly True Crime the other day, and this was brought up. She played an interview on Court TV on the 7-year anniversary of the crimes, which was just earlier this week. The person being interviewed is Barbara McDonald. She's one of the hosts of the Down the Hill podcast. They're the resident experts on the subject. They discuss some key evidence in the case, that is this unspent .40 caliber round from a Sig Sauer pistol. Police say they found the round on the ground between the two bodies at the scene where they were found. This round was found several days later. An unspent round means a bullet that is ejected from a weapon but never fired. The marking that a weapon makes on an unspent round is distinctive, and that's where the ballistics expert that law enforcement used was able to match that unspent round to the pistol that Rick Allen owned. Now, that evidence was shaky even then. Some experts say that the analysis of these types of markings is not definitive, and like it is when you have a fired round. In addition, the .40 caliber pistol is commonly used by law enforcement. The interesting point here is that she said the police searched that area in the woods and secured it as a crime scene for 3 days. Then they released the crime scene for a day or so and then reestablished it as a crime scene again. Now, that is very strange to me. Interestingly, the unspent round was not found during their 3-day search of the scene, but it was found after they reestablished the scene. How suspicious is that? I mean, anyone could have walked into this scene and left that round there. It's unsecured. It's in the middle of the woods. No one would have any idea that that may have happened. It was also found underneath some dirt, so it's difficult to know if it was covered up by someone or how long it had actually been there. Now, how is that correct evidence gathering? I mean, I don't know why this was not known to everyone until now. I mean, I've watched quite a bit on this case, and I don't recall ever hearing about this issue with the crime scene. And this whole releasing it, sealing it back up again is just incredibly suspicious. I can't see how this evidence is useless given this information. I mean, wouldn't an attorney destroy the police investigator on the stand when these issues were coming up in the trial? Aside from the round in question, there isn't much in the way of evidence, at least that I've been told. Rick Allen said he was walking in the area the day the crimes happened, but there were some eyewitnesses who gave descriptions that vaguely match him. But those are very shaky. There were also conflicting statements and issues with the time that he said he was there and the time the authorities believed the crimes were committed. There's no DNA, no fingerprints, nothing like that at all. There is the infamous Bridge Guy video, and some believe it looks like Rick Allen, but this was supposedly taken with one of the victim's phones. But experts who analyzed the video believe the person is much taller than the 5'6" Rick Allen. When police searched Rick's home 6 years after the crimes, they retrieved all his electronics, but nothing was found. Nothing at all about Odinism or anything with any of the victims. Interestingly, the arrest was made only a few weeks short of the election for Carroll County Sheriff. This was very convenient in the campaign for county sheriff to catch a person right before the election in a case that had grown cold and was catching constant flack from the public and the media. There was a police investigation expert on the same court TV interview that Grizzly showed, and he said this is definitely not the way crime scenes are supposed to be processed, and you can't re-secure a scene once it's been released. So this entire thing is incredibly suspicious in a case that is already full of shady behavior. The same expert said that he didn't believe those markings made on an unspent round were rock solid at all. He said it was not very scientific and very subjective. In addition, would the fact it was buried under dirt change those markings? And would possibly corrosion have been present? Maybe that would have affected it. Many people believe they should just let Rick Allen out of prison while they figure this out. There is so much of this going on in this case, it's just insane. The attorneys of Rick Allen, Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin, filed a motion to have the charges dismissed over the problems with the erased evidence and all of that. And that's not even including anything about this whole stuff with the unspent round. The similarities between Delphi and Idaho are absolutely uncanny. So many of the same things are going on in both cases. It's bizarre to think that there could be one case more screwed up than the next. As crazy as Idaho is, I actually believe Delphi is much worse. I don't understand how a bullet could be buried under dirt if the crime scene was processed immediately after the crimes happened. If it was ejected from a weapon, it would be laying there on top of the dirt. And if it is buried, either somebody intentionally put it there and buried it, maybe to justify why it hadn't been seen during the 3-day search, or it's been there for years and it has absolutely nothing to do with this case. They've set an October 2024 trial date in this case, but we'll see how that plays out. Rosie and Baldwin had made an attempt to have Judge Fran Gull removed due to many of the things she's been doing and this glaring bias she has against the defense. It's so obvious, but the Indiana Supreme Court did not remove her. So what do you guys think about this? Should they throw out that unspent round evidence against Rick Allen? If so, do you think they have enough evidence to charge him? I'd love to hear what you guys say about it. I also want to thank the members of the Horns High Club. I appreciate you guys for your support. I really do. And if you're not a member, that's fine too. I appreciate you all being here very much. And we'll see you next time on 666 Seconds of Murder.